Hello everybody and welcome back to AOR. This is the AOR Hype Energy F3 League on the PS4 Season 16, round number 5, takes us to the Circuit de Catalunya and the Spanish Grand Prix. My name is Kieran McGinley and I hope you'll enjoy my time with you here commentating over this one. As you can probably hear, my voice is a lot better than it was last week, so hopefully I'll be a little bit better in this race. Now comes the part where I have to get everything ready, so that includes all of the thumbnails and such the like. So we're just going to do that right about now. Welcome everybody joining onto the stream for F3 this one. So I have to make sure all the thumbnail is alright and make sure the tweet goes out and whatnot. Should be a good one, and you'll get my full focus in just a couple of minutes time, hopefully. A lot quicker to start this time around, so that is absolutely fantastic. We had last week, obviously I was speaking for quite a while, 8 minutes in fact. Someone was actually timing it, so that was all good. Hopefully this has gone out live. I really hope it has. And yeah, hopefully it's going out live right now. I hope it is anyway. Stream is good. Good health on the stream. Absolutely fantastic. Well, people are finding the video, so that's all good. And I'm really hoping I can't seem to find it on my own device. That's really strange. Where's it gone? That's really strange. I wouldn't say I'm desperately trying to find it, but I am definitely trying to find it. Let me see. Aha! I found it. There we go. There we go. I did it. It's definitely up and live and running. So that's all very good. Let's see what the weather's like as we head into the stream then. Or into the race. And it is perfectly bone dry for this one. So this should be a good race here. 18 minutes around the Circuit de Catalunya. We've got 16 drivers with us at the moment, and if you're watching in Baku last time out, last week, you will have seen that where is he? I've seen him. There he is, Sergey, the Spaniard there, winning the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And he did it in style as well. He was last at one point under the safety car, but he managed to really outdo himself and take full stance at the top of the driver's table. This is the annoying part where I have to find exactly where everything is, and I then upload the thumbnail. There it is. So it looks a little bit more professional as we wait for the first car to leave the pit lane. And hopefully you've all had a very good weekend. Don't tell me the Brazilian Grand Prix, I haven't seen it yet. So hopefully no one ruins it for me in the stream. Anyway, I'm focusing on this race first. And we'll see who can take that coveted pole position going into the Spanish Grand Prix. First came here in 1991. And it was part of the Olympics. And it proves to be a good track. It's a very balanced track, and such is the case where the F1 drivers in real life come here for pre-season testing. It's that good of a circuit to actually test around, and why not? A very balanced track that demands a lot of the aero package you have, and has that long straight down the start-finish line to keep you on your toes as you make your way towards that chicane of 1, 2 and 3. So a very demanding track of the car in terms of aero and in terms of straight line speed. So it's a real challenge for the drivers as we head into round number 5. So we're running aboard at the moment with Elite Game Boy. as he is making his way around the circuit. Locks up a little bit coming into this final chicane. Obviously the final chicane added all those years ago to slow the cars down going into the final two corners, but still, as you'll see as we ride with Elite Game Boy with the DRS open, you're going to reach around about 330 to 340 kph as you make way down this long straight here. As you can see, Elite Game Boy got just about there, reach 330 as you brake in towards 1, then 2. You're riding up and rising up through turn 3. It's a long corner here, turn 3, and careful not to get on the green stuff too much. You can see there for Elite Game Boy, he has invalidated his own lap time. As we head through to turn 4, you can see here not on a flying lap anymore, but then you're downhill towards turn 5, and that is a real braking point there where you can lock the front tyres up very easily indeed. Let's see, is the championship leader out on track? Yes, he is. Sergey currently tops the table here as he makes his way down the back straight here towards that left-hander, almost like a hairpin going through, and it's braking downhill and then you're accelerating uphill as you've got this curve on the left-hand side. Be careful of that one. You can't take too much of it as you make your way through. It can really unsettle the car and you can find yourself spinning around and facing the wrong way before you even know it. Sergey there on and out lap. We've got Demon as well, who had one of the worst races this season as he finished, I believe it was P13 at Baku. Found himself facing the wrong way coming through to the castle section, but managed to keep the car out of the wall. Less could be said about the Force Indias, who they both got claimed by the turn 8 wall there, that very narrow wall. Both of them retired from that. As we see now, the mighty Bucket then sets the benchmark. It's a 116.9, Crow Nexus with a 117.4, which puts him in second place right now. And we'll see who can match that, or maybe even beat it as well. We've got yellow flags in Sector 2. That's probably just cars getting out of the way there, as we see Solid Ninja Snake making his way downhill towards that hairpin then. And like I said, it's downhill towards the hairpin. Make the hairpin and then you're going up the hill here as Solid Ninja Snake just about misses that left hand side apex there. Crucial this lap time. You've really got to get the correct balance in the car, and you've really got to have that set up and make it your own almost. As we head around the final corner then with Solid Ninja Snake, the OG sets a 117.2 and Solid Ninja Snake sets a 118.0. Forgot to mention though that Demon is also on a set of soft tyres, and as he crosses the line it's a 117.259, 300ths of a second slower than the OG, who's on a set of super soft tyres. Sergey sets a 117.1. We've got Elite Game Boy there, the second time around sets a 117.3, Crow Nexus 117.4. We've also got Pit Matt there at 116.9. So 9 people set lap times, make that 10 as Dan the Snake crosses the line with a 117.0. So 10 across the line at the moment. We've got Jake out there on a lap as well. He's making his way through that long right-hander into the second DRS zone as he now makes his way down to this hairpin here. Turns in, hope the car sticks, and it's all about trying to make sure the car is underneath you almost. You don't want that back end to slip out, you don't want the back end to basically betray you at that point. Very easy to do, but looks like Jake just about has it under control as he heads through to the final corner. We're going to ride on board with him as he'll cross the line with about 12 minutes to go. It's a 118.7, but it's a lap time that's not going to count. It got invalidated during that time there, so he'll have to go again. And makes his way through turn 2 now, going through this long right-hander of turn number 3. And as you can see there, he might back off. He's still running in medium, so that number 2 there represents the ERS mode he's running in. As we now head down towards turn 5. And then don't be too greedy on that right-hand side there as you make your way out and through sector 2, or pretty much halfway through it anyway. But now we head into the second DRS zone, down this long straight that goes downhill towards turn 10. Heavy braking there, as you can hear Jake locking up here, and I hope you can hear a little bit better now the engine and the sounds of the tyres here, as I fiddled around with the audio settings a little bit, so hopefully I'm not drowned out by the sounds of the engines here. Griggs here looks like he's on a flying lap as he heads through turn 5. Very easy again to lock up going into turn 5, and then we head towards the slight kink of 6, and then up the hill through 7 and 8 through that right hander of turn number 9 here. And then you coming over the crest there, you can't take too much curb on the left hand side. If you do, you'll lose the back end coming down towards turn 10. As you can see, a little bit of a lock up from Griggs there as he makes his way through turn 10. Now up the hill we go through 11 and then round turn 12. And Sergey there, 116.8 from the championship leader. Great lap from him. Mighty Bucket 116.9, Pit Mat 116.9 as well. So good laps from them so far as Alex Musica looks to try and set a lap time on a set of soft tyres. Here comes Griggs then towards the line. What can he do? It's a 116.7 and he goes top of the table with around 10 minutes to go. Here comes Jamie James then towards the start finish line. What can he do? It's a lap time that was, well, it was an out lap. Oh, that's anticlimactic, isn't it? Oh, well, what can you do? Alex Musica looks like he's on a lap here. As you can see, they're locking up, going into turn 5 there. Very easy to do. Slight kink of 6, and then up towards turn 7 and 8. Oh, he lost the back end a little bit there, Alex Musica. Maybe that was a little bit of lag, and looks like he's carrying on then. And you've got to be careful, though. Going too wide on the left-hand side like that, you could risk invalidating your lap time. But we're still running a ball with Alex Musica as he heads up the hill now through turn 11, now through turn 12, and you can see him take a little bit of a wider line through turn 12, wide entry, optimises his exit towards turn 13, and then the chicane of turns 14 and 15 before rounding that final flowing corner of turn 16 here. So what can Alex Musica do then? Heading towards the start finish line, and is a 117.8, puts him in P12 on a set of soft tyres. So he should be doing a run on the super softs to see if he can maximise that lap time. Then Jamie James coming on to the straight now, coming around at turn 16 and coming towards the line. Then Jamie James, what can he do? It's a 117.3 and it puts him into P11. So as you can see, the top 12 separated by just under a second. Very close at the top here. Roadhouse starts a flying lap then in the McLaren. His teammate Solid Ninja Snake currently on a 118.0 on a set of super soft tyres. He is, I believe, also currently on the lap here. Yes, he is, as he goes up the hill through turn 11, round turn 12. And you can see a much tighter line from Solid Ninja Snake there compared to Alex Musica. There's multiple ways you can take that racing line, and if you take a wide entry, you're almost reminiscent of Sebastian Vettel's line through turn 12 there. Multiple ways you can take it, but Solid Ninja Snake then goes a 117.6, improves, but goes up into P13, so still outside of the top 10. So with 7 minutes to go then, Griggs is your provisional pole sitter, Sergey in second, Cronexus third, Mighty Bucket fourth, Pitmat in fifth, Dan the Snake sixth as Demon goes top of the table, 116.5, determined to put Baku behind him. He tops the tables here by just over 0.2 of a second. So that demotes Dan the Snake into 7th place. Igo Champ is in 8th, the OG is in 9th, there's Sean in 10th, Elite Game Boy 11th there, Jamie James in 12th, Alex Musica in 13th, Solid Ninja Snake 14th, and Jake in the Roadhouse yet to set a time, and the Roadhouse just does a 117.4. So that is his lap time, puts him into P14 then. So Jake is the only driver yet to set a lap time as he exits turn 5 towards the slight kink of 6 here, and then braking hard through 7 and 8. Very easy on the exit of turn 7 there to lose that back end. But you'll find that sometimes, even if you lose the back end, you can still set a quick lap time through there. The fact that it's off camber as you head up the hill really unbalances the car, so you have to be brave going through there. It's a tricky section here as we now head through turn 12 and then braking towards turn 13 with Jake here. As it looks like he still on the charge then. ERS battery all the way up to mode 5. He's really pushing here as he makes his way around the final corner. What's the lap time Jake can do then in the Sauber as he crosses the line? It's 117.2 and it puts him up into P12. So there's the gap to the leader then. 16 drivers and around a second separates them all. So this is great showing here and a great sign for qualifying to come then. Champ put himself up into P2 there, only 0.08 of a second off Demon on pole position. Mighty Bucket there, 1/10 off, Griggs 2/10, Sergey 2/10. But yeah, almost all of them are under a second behind the leader, apart from Solid Ninja Snake, who is just over a second behind, 1.068 seconds to be exact. Demon then on provisional pole position with a 1:16.577. He heads back to the pits then. Oh, sorry, Champ heads back to the pits. My mistake. Camera just about flipped on its own there, so obviously not interested in showing the garages there. Decided to show Demon instead. Oh, sorry, Igo instead. But Sergey here, championship leader. Obviously 2 wins this season. The only person who can match him on that is Demon, who has 2 wins under his belt as well. But a 13th place for Demon last time out means that he is now 18 points behind Sergey. So he's got a lot to do here, Demon, but he's determined to do it. Then we're still going to ride on board with Sergey, see if he can get a better lap time. And well, in terms of average qualifying position, well, Sergey, after 4 races, has an average qualifying position of 9.8. So that means he finishes around about 9th or 10th on average in qualifying. So not the best showing in qualifying for him. Sean here has got pole position once this season with an average qualifying position of 6.8. So somewhere between 6th and 7th is his average qualifying. He has already got a pole position this season. And we'll see what he can do here. Currently in P9, one of only 4 cars out on track at the moment, and all the cars here are probably waiting for that perfect moment. And the OG here is letting that Williams through. I believe that is Alex Musica, and it is. I wonder if Alex Musica is on a lap here. No, he's not. So Jamie James coming across the line to start his lap then. As we're now down to 3 cars out on track, with Sean coming into the pits. The OG then has an average qualifying position of P5, is that? Oh, 6.8, there you go. Average qualifying position for the OG, 6.8. But he loses around about 1.8 positions per race. So looks like the OG currently, after 4 races, is better over 1 lap. But anything can happen in Formula 1. Currently in 10th place is the OG, 117.1. We've also got Jamie James here in the Ferrari. And Jamie James's average qualifying position is 7.3. So round about the mid-pack. Just at the head of the mid-pack here. So he'll be hoping to get better than that. See if he can get above average for his qualifying position. He's now flying through turn 13, now down to 14 and 15, and then coming around turn 16. Then we'll see what Jamie James can do then, flying through turn 16 as he makes his way towards that start finish line with the DRS open. The OG has retired from the session, and Alex Musical was involved in that one. Jamie James, by the way, up to P9. So oh, that's a huge collision down the back straight. Then that is going towards turn 10 there. So Alex Musica got himself caught up with that, and the OG is out of qualifying. Alex Musica picks up a 5-place grid penalty for the race then with that collision. So the game has put the fault on Alex Musica for that one, and he's got a significant amount of front wing damage. That could rule him out for the rest of qualifying. He'll need to get it back to the pits though. So a bizarre one down the back straight then. And I'm not sure. Obviously, we didn't see what happened, so we can't assume here. All we can assume here is that Alex Musica hasn't got long to get himself back out on track and get a lap under his belt. See if he can challenge into the top 10. Still, just over a second separates pole position from 16th place. So this is good pace so far here. Chrome Nexus is currently out on track, and Chrome Nexus here, if I can find him on my list. Which I have now, average qualifying position of 11.3, so currently in P6, better than average at the moment. So he'll be hoping there to stay in around at P6, go even quicker if he can. So here we are with Sergey then, making his way onto his flying lap, and he may even have time for 2 flying laps if he's lucky, if he wants to put those tyres through 2 laps in qualifying. Mighty Bucket making his way around, coming towards turn 13, through then 14 and 15. So the Mighty Bucket then currently in P3, and his average qualifying position is P8. P8 exactly. So currently above average at the moment for his season. Of course, we've only had 14 rounds. We've only had 4 rounds at the moment. Pitmat has retired from the session. Not sure where he's gone off. Solid Ninja Snake has also retired, so they're probably realised that they won't have enough time to get a flying lap in. Igo Champ crosses the line with around 40 seconds to go, so that's good timing then. Griggs here with only 30 seconds to go. Looks like he's going to try and make it. Will he make it though? I think he will. I think he'll just about make it, as he now heads through 14 and 15. 16 seconds on the clock then. So Sergey will be the first of the front runners to set a lap time, the championship leader. Yep, so Griggs there crosses the line with around 8 seconds to go, as Sergey here goes P3, 1:16.6. It's not quick enough. And there you go, the ERS mode goes down to 0, so that's Sergey's lap done, and the best he can manage at the moment is P3. So Demon on a lap here as he flies through turn 7 and turn 8. Igo Champ here coming towards turn 10. We've got the Mighty Bucket also on a lap here, coming towards 14 and 15. As we now head towards turn 16 now, what can the Mighty Bucket do then as he heads towards the line? What can he do? It is a 1:16.6. He can't take pole position. So Igo Champ still in the mix then. Griggs now making his way up the hill towards P9, or turn 9 I should say. Dan the Snake then also on a lap. Chrome Nexus has taken the checkered flag. He's in P7. We've also got Elite Game Boy out there, I believe. Yes, we do. He sets a 1:18, but it was invalidated, so that lap is not going to count as Demon goes quicker, and only just 1:16.5 as Igo Champ comes into the pits then. So Dan the Snake is on the lap, so is Griggs. So we'll have to see what these two can do. They're the last 2 people to set a lap time here. Dan the Snake comes towards the line. What can he do? It's a 1:17.0. It is slower than his best lap time. Here comes Griggs then towards the line. What can he do? And he can't go quicker. Stays P5. So Griggs then cannot get the better lap time. So Demon here will take pole position for the Spanish Grand Prix by the finest of margins. So we'll have the full qualifying results then in just a second as we make our way into, or we load into the results then. Be patient and they will come. Demon takes pole position by 0.08 of a second from the Mighty Bucket. Igo Champ in 3rd place, Sergey in 4th, Griggs in 5th, Dan the Snake in 6th, Cronexus 7th, Pitmat in 8th, Jammy James in 9th, Roadhouse 10th, Sean in 11th, the OG in 12th, Elite Game Boy 13th, Jake in 14th. Alex Musica qualified in 15th, but will be starting from the back of the grid, so Solid Ninja Snake will jump him for position. I've just been informed by the Roadhouse that light rain is predicted for the whole race. So all of those that could have been dry setups through there, well, if it starts raining, they'll mean absolutely nothing. So we'll have to see if it is rain for the entire race. We'll have 33 laps here at the Circuit de Catalunya, and just as Roadhouse has told me, just as he predicted, it is raining. So light rain is predicted to stay throughout the entire race. So we're looking at a 1-stop here on the intermediate tyres, with the pit window opening around about lap number 16. With a pit window opening 15 to 18, you can expect the cars to come in for a new set of intermediate tyres. You don't want to go exactly halfway in this sort of race, because you open yourself up to the undercut, and the intermediates could probably make it to the end of the race if you pit on lap 15. It'll be a little bit of a struggle, however it is possible. You really have to manage your tyres in the back end of this race then. So as we've got a little bit of time on our hands, I'll go through the driver standings. Sergey is at the top then on 72 points. Demon in second on 54. Pitmat in third on 51. Griggs is in fourth on 40. Dan the Snake, I believe that is, in fifth on 38. We've got the Mighty Bucket there in sixth on 32. Shawnee is in seventh on 22. The OG is in eighth on 20. Then we've got Igo Champ there in 9th place. He is on 18 points. Elite Game Boy 10th on 18 points as well. Roadhouse in 11th on 16. We've got Alex Musica there in P12. He's on 15 points with his one and only podium coming at Australia. Solid Ninja Snake with 4 points in 13th. Jammy James in 14th on 2 points. Nexus in 15th on 2. Lakitu, Jake, Manolo, Chinchillaman and Jack Lacey yet to score a point this season. So pressure on them then as we head for the Constructors Champions, or the Constructor Championship I should say, as we take a look at it. So Toro Rosso lead the way on 92 points, Haas in second on 72, Mercedes third on 53, Red Bull not far behind Mercedes, they're on 50 points in fourth place, Ferrari in fifth on 42, Williams are in sixth on 37, Renault in seventh on 20 points, McLaren in eighth on 20 points, Force India ninth on 18, and Sauber are yet to score a point this season. So real pressure on them to get some points on the board and get themselves into a position where they can take some valuable points. We'll be watching Jake very closely here to see if he can grab some points then. So no need to show you what tyre everybody's on. It's pretty much self-explanatory. They're all on the intermediate tyres. We've got around about 4.655 kilometres of racetrack here. So we'll be covering around about 153.5 kilometres there or thereabouts for the Spanish Grand Prix. And Dan the Snake has left the session there. So Dan the Snake in P6 has disconnected from the race. So, well, he's got to hurry back and see if he can rejoin the session. Roadhouse and Sean there sent straight to the grid. But we've got 33 laps here, and Dan the Snake has rejoined back in the session, but he won't have rejoined back into his car yet. You can see the ghost car of Dan the Snake coming onto the grid there. So it's all about the start then. Maybe he'll want to be ghosted for the first couple of corners here, as we are ready to go for the Spanish Grand Prix. You're watching the AOR Hype Energy F3 League. This is round number 5, the Spanish Grand Prix. We're almost ready to go here as we're waiting now for the 5 red lights. There they are. Round 5 is underway, and what are the starts like? Watch the wheel spin of Demon off the line, and it looks like the Mighty Bucket couldn't quite take advantage then. They're going to be side by side as we head down towards turn 1. Watch out for Igo Champ there, and you've got that is Dan there, Dan the Snake, ghosting there as the Force India and the Red Bull slightly touched then as they head through towards turn 2. Looks like everybody's kept it clean so far as we head through the first couple of corners. We're looking further back then as we're riding on board now with Chrome Nexus. He's trying to chase down Pitmat, and Dan the Snake there disconnecting, of course. He is now down into P16. Is he still ghosted? No, he's back. So he now has to start basically from the back of the grid then. Here's Alex Musica trying to chase down Solid Ninja Snake. Had to take that 5th-place grid penalty as he tries to launch it down the inside. There's the OG getting past Jammy James, going down in towards turn 5 as we head through the slight kink of turn 6. You can see the OG there trying to chase down Chrome Nexus as we go up the hill through 7 and 8 as we now head through towards turn 9. Normally a little bit flat here, maybe a little bit of a lift in the dry, but completely different in the wet. You really have to lift off there and take care of the car as you head now down towards turn 10. That's the Ferrari of Jammy James trying to go up the inside there of the OG into turn 10 as we now head up the hill now through 11 and then through turn 12. And if that curb on the inside of turn 11 is dangerous in the dry, think about how dangerous it is in the wet then. Going around turn 12 then, coming towards turn 13, Jammy James then is up into 8th place. So good move from him then. He will take 8th place there. So we're waiting for Demon to come into the picture. There he is. Demon leads the way from the Mighty Bucket. Igo Champ is in P3. You've got Sergey there in P4. Griggs is in P5. Pitmat 6th. Chrome Nexus in 7th. Jammy James 8th. OG 9th. Sean in 10th. Alex Musica 11th. Solid Ninja Snake 12th. Roadhouse 13th. Elite Game Boy 14th. Jake in 15th. Dan the Snake 16th there after disconnecting and not really getting his race start underway. But he's starting to make a little bit of progress here. We have a look backwards here as Elite Game Boy gets away past Roadhouse there into turns 1 and 2, and Dan the Snake here has run into the back of Jake there, and you can see a little bit of damage on the left-hand side of Dan the Snake's front wing, and he's off into the gravel there. Dan the Snake in the gravel, and is this a retirement? It is! Dan the Snake is out of the Spanish Grand Prix, becomes the first retirement of the day, and that was after he collided with the back of Jake there, and that looks like someone who is in not a very great mood at all. The rain probably didn't help with the mood there, but he's out of the Spanish Grand Prix then. Lap 2, Demon still leads the way from the Mighty Bucket and Igo Champ. That's a Renault off in the background there. That's the OG there, having a huge moment there. Kept it relatively in check though, only loses a couple of positions rather than a front wing. So heart in mouth moment there for the OG. He drops to 11th place. Looking at the details then, position changes. The biggest winner is Alex Musica. No changes in the top 5 at the moment, but Alex Musica is the biggest winner here. He's up 6 positions. Of course, he had to start from the back of the grid with that penalty. The losers of the runners here at Roadhouse dropping 4 positions at the moment. Finds himself 14th of the runners. So not a great start for him. Still a long way to go then, as Demon there locks up going into turn 1, pushing as hard as he possibly can to try and get that gap to the Mighty Bucket. The gap at the moment is 1.5 seconds, and Alex Musica might be trying to make a move on his teammate here, and he has done. Alex Musica now up into 9th place. Of course, his one and only point scoring finish was a podium at round 1. So he's hoping that he can get a few more points on the board then to help him in the championship hunt. As, well, he's wanted to get more points on the board. There's a little bit of a duck at the moment, so he just needs to keep his head down. He's got past his teammate, and the next target for him is Jammy James. Chrome Nexus then, meanwhile, is being reeled in by Jammy James. Only 0.4 of a second separate the Mercedes from the Ferrari. And you can see now they're flying through your picture now as we head through towards turn 9. No DRS, of course, because of the wet conditions. And it's highly unlikely we'll be seeing wet DRS for the entire race, if it is meant to rain for the entire race. So we're now heading up the hill now, and Chrome Nexus still in 7th place. The OG, meanwhile, has recovered from that mistake. He's now right on the back of Sean here, as he tentatively makes his way around turn 12, coming now into turn 13, and still on the back of him there. Looks like most people are playing it safe here, apart from Demon, of course. 132.4, which is instantly bettered by Igo Champ, and then instantly bettered again by Griggs. So Alex Musica then has his say then, 132.2. So Alex Musica here, did he have a wet setup for qualifying and is now finding himself all the way coming through the field? It was a very risky strategy to play, but if he's got a wet setup on, that's going to help him compared to those who maybe ran a dry setup for the qualifying session here. Championship leader Sergey is behind Igo Champ. Of course, the gap at the top of the table is 18 points. So it's going to take a lot for Demon to take the championship lead going into Monaco next time out. But at the moment then, Sergey in 4th place. And that will score him 12 points. So the gap is 13 points. So Sergey will still hold on to the championship lead by 5 points if it finished right now. But of course, we're not finished yet. We've only just started lap 4 of the Spanish Grand Prix. Pitmat and Chrome Nexus here. Well, it's round 4. So we're not expecting team orders just yet, but Chrome Nexus, who is right on the tail of his teammate here, will be hoping that Pitman doesn't make it too difficult for him, with Jammy James behind, looking to make and take an advantage if he sees one. But we're now heading through the final few corners, coming towards turns 14 and 15. As you can see there, Chrome Nexus looking to try and optimise his exit out of the final chicane there, as that Demon there, 131.8, extends that gap at the front to 2 seconds. Comfortable gap right now, but you can see Chrome Nexus is closing in on Pitmat then as we head down towards turn 1, right in the slipstream, riding on board with him now as we head into 1 and 2. But not close enough to make a move, not even close enough to think about one, let alone try and make one. But you see Jammy James there in the background, looking to try and take an advantage, if and when he can. Lap 5 of the Spanish Grand Prix. Demon leads from the Mighty Bucket. Igo Champ is in 3rd, and that is your top 3 so far. Of course, get down in the comments below. Who do you think is going to win this race? Cronexus running a little bit deep there going into turn 5. So deep, in fact, that he couldn't actually optimise his exit coming out of turn 5 as they head towards 7 and 8 here. Up the hill they go. I was going to say which dry tyres are available to the drivers, but of course with the rain out it's not really relevant right now. But there's a move for third place. That is Sergey getting past Igo Champ for now, going into turn 10. And as we head up the hill then through 11 and 12, Sergey, the championship leader, gets the move on Igo Champ that he needs, and Igo Champ loses the back end there and catches Gwiggs out just very slightly. Great reactions from Gwiggs there to try and stop the car. Igo Champ just lost the back end there, and a lot of faith in Gwiggs there to try and stop the car, and he did. So Igo Champ getting away with that one. That's a warning sign for him. 131.7 from Demon. He's just getting quicker and quicker out there. And that just shows you that the tyres are really working for him, and he's really getting that pace down. You see lots of close gaps here at the moment. You've got Jammy James trying to close in on Cronexus. You've got Griggs here trying to close in on Igo Champ. Now Griggs, of course, has seen a weakness with the tyres here, but you can see now Jammy James is trying to have a go round the outside of Cronexus as we fly through turn 4. And sorry, turn 3 that is, and almost Fernando Alonso style memories here as we head now into turn 4. He couldn't quite make the move done, and Cronexus holds on to P7, but Jammy James right behind him is ready to make a move as we head down towards turn 5. And we're now going to come into the slight kink of turn 6. Jammy James here looks up for this one as he's piling on the pressure to Cronexus there as we head through 7 and then through turn 8. As I said, through that section it's very easy to lose that back end. You've got to be really tentative with the throttle there as you make your way up then. So Jammy James might have a chance at making a move as we head down towards turn 10, but doesn't go for it. And Cronexus here and Pit Matt, well, they're very close as well. Here comes Sean here, right on the back of Alex Musica here. He decides to take that inside curb of turn 12. We don't normally see that. We haven't normally seen it on the onboards that we've seen. So Roadhouse has made a move, and Elite Game Boy's into the gravel. Elite Game Boy into the gravel at turn 12. So I'm wondering if that's a mistake or a little bit of a contact there. Either way, he's into the gravel. No damage done on the car though, so he's able to carry on, but he rejoins in P15. And sure, we've got Sean's out. Sean is out. Sean's lost it. Oh, that's terrible. He's hit the inside wall there. And Sean becomes the second retirement of the Spanish Grand Prix. Heartbreak for the Williams driver, but he'll go away empty-handed from this one. Second retirement on lap number 6. He didn't see lap 7, of course. It looks like he got too much on the curb there, lost the back end and went straight to the scene of the accident. We're running aboard now with Cronexus, just trying to close in on Pit Matt here once again. Jammy James, oh, here's a move. Here's Alex Musica trying to make a move on Jammy James. Locked up there as he realised the door was closing. So just kept it out of the rear wing there of Jammy James. We head through turn 6 and now coming through 7 and 8 here. Up the hill we go. And Alex losing that back end there coming out of turn 7. That's what I was talking about. Getting onto the grass there as we head through turn 9. That's not going to help his tyres at all, as you need as much grip as possible from those tyres. The treads to be as clean as possible there. As you can see there, Alex Musica locking up going into these corners. He's really pushing hard to try and get onto the back of Jammy James, and that might bode well for the runners in front of him, because they'll be trying to look after their tyres, especially Pit Matt. He's 2.1 ahead behind the next car, so he's got clear air, and that's going to help him in terms of tyre wear, in terms of dirty air as well. Meanwhile, we're riding on board still with Alex Musica then. Into the slipstream he goes of Jammy James, and he's turned up that ERS deployment right up to 5 here, as now he goes into the slipstream. Can he try and make a move going into turn 1? He thought about it, really thought about it, but then decided not to. The door was never open for him, couldn't quite make that move stick. Meanwhile then, Sergey is right on the tail of the Mighty Bucket as we head around turn 4 there. Getting my corners mixed up already as we head now down towards turn 5. You can see now Sergey is pushing. He's got the Mighty Bucket ahead of him. The Red Bull here is not going to make this easy for him, and the championship leader is looking to try and reduce that deficit. So at the moment in this season we've only had 2 winners, Demon and the other one is Sergey here. And is that going to be another written story here that And then they have 2 winners in the first 5 races. Not a bad stat to have, of course. At least we've established some title rivals, and that we may see them battle it out going into the final and closing stages of this race. It's all interesting now because it's in terms of strategy. Demon here is 3 seconds ahead of the Mighty Bucket. So let's ride on board with him since I'm talking about him. Demon here, 3 seconds ahead. So the ball is kind of out of his court. It may seem he's in control, 3-second lead, but the Mighty Bucket and Sergey can just pit in whenever they like and leave Demon stranded out there. That's the gap at the moment, and that's how much it's going to affect them. Alex Musica into the pits then from 9th place. He's had a good start to this race, and this looks like... does he have front wing damage, I wonder? Let's see then as he comes into the pits. No, it's a strategic stop then. Onto some intermediate tyres he goes then. So that looks like a 2-stop. That looked really early to be a 1-stop. Then again, that's probably why I'm in the commentary box. But to me, that's very early for if he wants to make a 1-stop there. Because he has to now make those tyres last for a good... what's that, 24 laps? 24, 25 laps on those intermediate tyres. So that's going to be a really tough ask for Alex Musica here. But meanwhile, Solid Ninja Snake is trying to make some moves on the OG as we head into turn 5. The door was closed, so he couldn't really do it. As we head through the slight kink of 6 and then towards 7 and 8. You can see then Solid Ninja Snake is not having this. He's trying to close the gap. Trying to find a way past the OG here as we now head through turn 9, down the hill towards turn 10. Also keeping an eye on the battle between Pitmat, Cronexus and Jamie James. That's a battle for P6 right now, so quite a few battles happening around the field, which is always good to see. There goes Gwiggs in your picture, and now Pitmat, Cronexus and Jamie James. So it's Ferrari, Mercedes, Mercedes, Ferrari, P5, 6, 7 and 8. Lap 10 of this Grand Prix. Demon leads from the Mighty Bucket and Sergey. Igo Champ 4th, Griggs in 5th, Pitmat 6th, Cronexus 7th, Jamie James 8th. The OG is in 9th, Solid Ninja Snake 10th. As we see Cronexus here closing on Pitmat here. Will he try and make a move into turn 1? He got very, very close there going into turn 1, but couldn't quite find a way past then. So Cronexus, as we head around turn 2 here, or turn 3, sorry. Solid Ninja Snake, meanwhile, behind them, has found a way past the OG. OG wanted to try and find a way round the outside again as we headed through turn 3. Unfortunately, though, the door had closed. Solid Ninja Snake not giving him that chance, that incentive to try and make a move done then. Cronexus we jump on board with. Still half a second down on his teammate. OG here looking to try and just keep the car balanced and stable and see if he can try and have another go at Solid Ninja Snake. We're running on board with Sergey here, and you can see on board there that Mighty Bucket makes another mistake here as he loses that back end slightly, and you can see Sergey is just closing in, doing what he has to do to try and close in on that gap then as we now head through turn 12. Still running on board with Sergey here as we go to the broadcast cameras, and track or the skies above look a little bit brighter than they were before. Not much brighter, but a little bit brighter. But that doesn't look well. Doesn't bode well in terms of a dry race happening at any point. I don't think it is. But there you can see Sergey here with the ERS battery turned up to mode 4. So that's overtake mode. It's not quite hot lap mode, but it's overtake. Couldn't quite get the gap down enough to get pretty much into the slipstream. And without the DRS here, you can see the cars are just struggling to get that top speed. So some cars here will be running a higher aero package because, of course, they saw the rain coming. And that will would play into the hands of the defenders because, of course, with less straight line speed, there's less chance that they could have a move down the main straight. But when Demon crosses the line, we'll have completed a third of this Grand Prix. And you can see him there now heading through turn 8 there as we head round the right-hander of turn 9. Demon has looked in control of this one right now. But of course, there's still rain on the ground, and that always causes a little bit of drama anywhere you go. Any race you go. If you throw rain into the mix, you're going to get an exciting race as drivers find themselves on the limit more often than not then. You can see Pitmat still in control of 6th place here. Cronexus in 7th, and at the moment Jamie James is happy to keep a hold of P8 for now. So this is where the battle of the strategies will come into play. who pits first and who will make those tyres last to the end of the race. As you can see, the green spanner in the bottom right hand corner indicates that their scheduled pit window is open. So who comes in then? That looks like Pitmat's in. Sorry, Chrome Nexus is in. One of the Mercedes is in. So this looks like Chrome Nexus trying to go for a 2-stop here. So he's pitted on lap 11. So we should expect him in on lap 22 for another set of intermediate tyres. So maybe the team didn't think that he could make it to the end on those tyres. Well, at least one stop with those tyres. Of course, you may only think that he's only got to do 4 more laps on those tyres. He's into the 1-stop window. Well, not exactly true. But those 4 laps, obviously in a 50% race, turn into 8 laps. So it's always a little bit more difficult than it seems. And around Spain here, where you've got to keep those tyre temperatures in check, always difficult to do. And there's so many corners, so many high-speed corners as well, that some drivers are opting to just go for the 2-stop, play it safe, and push hard on the tyres instead then. So Chrome Nexus rejoins behind Alex Musica. Remember, Alex Musica stopped on lap number 8 for his set of intermediate tyres, so he's going for a 2-stop as well. He surely won't be able to make those tyres last to the end of the race then. Interesting then, so we'll have to wait and see what happens to Chrome Nexus, Jamie James and the OG as well. The OG pitted in for a new set of intermediate tyres then. So what does Demon do then, as he'll cross the line to start lap 13 any moment now? There he goes, 21 laps to go in the Spanish Grand Prix, with the rain still coming down. Light rain at that, but it's still enough to keep those intermediate tyres being the best tyres for the race then. As we head down towards turn 1 with Sergey. He's still trying to close in on the mighty bucket, and it just seems like now is the battle of the strategies. There may not be much on-track action, but come the end of the race you might see many more overtakes. Of course, these tyres have to make it through these stints, so they'll be prioritising that first. Meanwhile, further back then, Jamie James on a fresh set of tyres. Looks like he's going to try and make the move at last on Chrome Nexus. No pit mat to help Chrome Nexus this time. As we head down towards turn 1, Jamie James is up the inside. It becomes the outside line for turn 2, and Chrome Nexus is just going to stick his nose up there. And Jamie James couldn't quite make the move done. Chrome Nexus holds on to P12. Great defending from Chrome Nexus there, but he runs a little wide, and that's going to cost him a little bit of straight line speed here as we head towards turn number 4. And these two are going to be battling hard then. Let's jump on board very quickly onto Sergey here, who's closed up on the mighty bucket once again. P3 at the moment, but he'll wanting that podium position. Maybe even push for the win as well. Jamie James here still chasing down Chrome Nexus as we head through 7 and 8 here. Of course, those two on a fresh set of tyres, and they'll be looking to try and set some quick laps down. Elite Game Boy with a 3-second time penalty. As there is the mighty bucket then, who comes into the pit lane from second place, very close to the wall on the left hand side there. But mighty bucket then into the pits from second place. That'll put Sergey up into P2 now, with Igo Champ promoted to P3. Mighty bucket is in. On go a set of intermediate tyres. Griggs is also in for Ferrari, and he'll put on a set of intermediate tyres. So that's also committing to a 2-stop as well, surely. They pitted on lap 13, so that'll commit them to a 2-stop. So Demon then still leading the way then, and it looks like he wants to make those tyres last and the 1-stop work as well. As you can see, that green spanner bottom right hand corner means that his pit window is open, so the team want him to come in. So that maybe the team want him to do a 2-stop, but he's happy to do a 1-stop. He'll have to make it to at least lap 16 or lap 15 to make a 1-stop work. So the pit window will open next lap for the intermediate tyres. It'll be tough to make them last, but it's possible. And Demon has shown already that he's capable of keeping those tyres in check, just keeping his head down and making this gap work. As you can see, Griggs here rejoined ahead of Chrome Nexus, as Elite Game Boy here gets himself ahead of Jake there. So Jake in the Sauber, hoping to score some points for Sauber this season. They remain scoreless in the season, but the Williams there of that's Alex Musica has wanting to change his mind about that. Had to go down into first gear here. But look at this. Sauber versus Williams then. As Jake trying to defend the inside line. Alex Musica on a fresher set of tyres then. Round the outside he goes. He puts himself onto the AstroTurf. And still he can't try and find a way past. He clips the grass there. Runs a little bit wide. Is he going to try and go down the inside? Going into 13. And, it's a little bit of contact there between the Sauber and the Williams. And the Sauber has to brake check. Alex Musica then moves up a position and then also awards a position to Crow Nexus there. And look at this here. Jake, in the space of a couple of laps, might be losing positions galore here. Mighty Bucket has got past the Roadhouse there. And look at this now. This is Alex Musica here. Crow Nexus trying to attack, but he couldn't quite make it though. So Crow Nexus still behind Alex Musica then. Jake then dropping to P11, Gwiggs in P12, and you can see now on those fresh set of tyres how much he's able to push there. That back end wanting to step out there on Gwiggs. He's able to keep it under control then, as now he heads towards turn 4, tries to go up the inside, clips the curb there, and that's the Sauber running a little bit wide there. A little bit of oversteer from Jake here, and Gwiggs takes advantage. Gets up into P11. Jake losing positions now, and he's got Jamie James behind him, as Jamie James wants to get that move done because he was attacking Crow Nexus, but now he finds himself in P13 with Crow Nexus up to P10. So the pit window for the intermediate tyres to do a one-stop is now open. But as you can see, Demon has stayed out, Sergey has stayed out, Igo Champ stays out. How about Pitmat then? Will he stay out? Yes, he will. As look at this then. This is side by side then. Jamie James makes a move. And Jamie James now up into P12. Jake now down to P13. And what looks like, I believe Jake will be doing a one-stop today. Let's have a look at the stops here. So yeah, you can see there. Mighty Bucket, Alex Musica, Crow Nexus, Griggs, Jamie James and the OG have all made a stop so far. You're riding aboard so far with the Mighty Bucket, the leading two-stopper right now. Trying to close in on Solid Ninja Snake, who is yet to stop. There's Jamie James and Jake into the pits then. Now, is this damage repairs? It must be. Yes, it is. So, Jake is in now. So, Jamie James has to repair some damage. How about Jake here? No front wing ready. Just a change of tyres for Jake. And away he goes. So, he's committed to the one stop now. So he has to make those tyres last then. He should be able to make those tyres last. If he got them that far, to ask to maybe push them a lap more, 2 laps in a real race, or what, a 100% race, it could happen. But you never know. The intermediate tyres like to be a little bit temperamental at times. But you can see there the Mighty Bucket up into P5 then, the leading two-stopper right now. And here comes Demon into the pits. Lap 16, your leader is into the pits then. Sergey follows him in, not willing to be undercut here. And Igo Champ also follows him in. So lots of drivers pitting in on lap 16. How about Pitmat here? And Pitmat also darts into the pit lane then. So will the Mighty Bucket take the race lead? Demon in then. But he's held by the Haas just a little bit. And that will help Sergey out just a little bit. Close that gap up a little bit more. And let's see where the Mighty Bucket rejoins. He sets the fastest lap of the race. There you can see Demon there. I think Demon's going to rejoin ahead of the Mighty Bucket, and he is. So the Mighty Bucket then has to push hard as... he locks up going into turn 1 there. Goes off the track a little bit. And that's going to be a little bit of good news for Sergey here. He's on newer tyres, and we've got yellow flags out here. And who's that for? Sector 1. Not quite sure who it's for, but... in the meantime, we're going to ride on board or see the cameras following Alex Musica here. He's in 6th place, but he stopped very early in this race. And we'll be able to see the tyres here. There they are. So now you can see the age of the tyres. As Alex Musica has been on those tyres for 8 laps now. The Roadhouse in P4 has still yet to stop. He's the only driver yet to stop in this race. So lap 17 then, with the first round of stops almost done. We have Demon leading the way, the Mighty Bucket in 2nd, but the Mighty Bucket has committed to a 2-stop here, so he's got to stop again. Sergey in 3rd, Roadhouse 4th, yet to stop. Igo Champ 5th, Alex Musica 6th, Crow Nexus 7th, Griggs in 8th, Pitmat 9th, OG in 10th. That's your top 10 so far. And you can see Griggs here really closing in to the back of Crow Nexus. The sun tries to poke through as we head through to turn 12. Jake there picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. Griggs here still trying to close that gap up. We've got Sergey here trying to close in on the Mighty Bucket as the Roadhouse pits in. You can see just in the distance there, he's come in and he'll put on a fresh set of intermediate tyres that will get him to the end of the race. So Demon still leads the way then from the Mighty Bucket and Sergey, but Sergey is doing his best to try and change that. Mighty Bucket may have to stop again though. I think he probably will have to, as the Roadhouse here rejoins. But where will he rejoin? His teammate will pass him, as the McLaren's got both going for the one stop here. So Roadhouse there will rejoin in 11th place ahead of Elite Game Boy. So that is the McLaren driver can now try and make those tyres last to the end of the race. The Mighty Bucket meanwhile on 4-lap old intermediate tyres. Compare that to Alex Musica and Crow Nexus, 9 and 6 laps respectively. As we now fly through turn 9, up the hill, then down the hill towards turn 10, that heavy braking zone, riding aboard now with the Mighty Bucket. You can see from the rear wing here how close Mighty Bucket is to Sergey here, but who's even closer is Griggs on Crow Nexus. Griggs will try and make a move here. He locks up going into turn 10. There's a little bit of contact there, not enough to cause a little bit of damage, not enough to unsettle either car. But you can see there Griggs really locking up going into turn 10 there. As we head through turn 12, now coming towards turn 13, Griggs has to be patient here as Demon sets the fast lap of the race, 1:30.5. Looking to try and extend his advantage at the front of the pack here. Still running aboard with Griggs then as we head out of the final corner. And you can see already how much ground he's lost to Crow Nexus here. As Crow Nexus is he running a little bit less drag here maybe. Comparing top speeds before they try and brake. No, they're around about the same, 311 kph for both Crow Nexus and Griggs here. So they're running around about the same aero setup, which is very rare to see. But Griggs here is not going to stop trying to push and trying to put some pressure on Crow Nexus. First it was Jamie James putting pressure on Crow Nexus. Now it's Griggs in the other Ferrari. Speaking of Jamie James, he finds himself at the moment P14. That's a little bit of lag there from the Mighty Bucket. Sent him catapulting around the circuit. But it looks like he's rejoined in P2 here. But it looks like Sergey is looking to try and take advantage here as there's a little bit of contact going through turn 9 there as the Mighty Bucket now has left the session. So he's now become a ghost car, and he was running in P2 there. So Sergey, well, will make it an easier move for him. So he's now up into P2. The Mighty Bucket isn't out of this race just yet. If he can rejoin the session, he'll be able to get back into his car. But at the moment, Sergey's got past him. Up into P2 he goes, and now we can focus on Demon, who is a championship rival at the moment. So then lap 19 becomes lap number 20. 14 laps to go in this one. We have Demon leading the way. Sergey is in second. Mighty Bucket third as a ghost car. Igo Champ could take that third place away from him though as we head down the straight. And it looks like he's just about to do it. The longer Mighty Bucket stays as a ghost car, the worse the pain's going to get for him as Igo Champ goes straight through the Mighty Bucket to take away P3 from him. So Alex Music at the moment is in 5th with Crow Nexus 6th and Griggs is 7th. Pitmat there is in 8th place, not far behind that battle for 5th place. OG in 9th, Solid Ninja Snake in 10th with Roadhouse in 11th. We've also got Elite Game Boy in 12th, Jake in 13th. Oh, Jake's into the wall there, coming out of the final corner, and Jamie James just about avoided Jake there. And Mighty Bucket has joined back into the session, so he's lost 2 positions so far. So he'll be a little bit frustrated about that, but I'll tell you who'll be more frustrated is Jake here, who still no points scored for Sauber, and with that front wing off, that looks less and less likely now. And what some of the 2 stoppers need now is a safety car that will bring them right back into this race, because at the moment the 1 stops look pretty good. We've got yellow flags in sector 3, so I'm not entirely sure who that was, but in any case they're gone now, so it couldn't have been too damaging. So Alex Musica in 5th place. Mighty Bucket, has he rejoined? Yes, he has. He's become a solid object again. He'll be frustrated, but it could have been a whole lot worse as Alex Musica goes flying through turn number 13 there, going through the chicane of 14 and 15. You can see he loses the back end a lot here Those tyres are aging, and you can see he's losing that back end again. Here comes Cronexus then, in the slipstream. He's got Griggs behind him. Alex Musica pulls to the inside to try and take a more defensive line as we head now down the hill towards turn 1. Cronexus has to go round the outside of turn 1. It'll become the inside for turn number 2. Can he make that move stick, Cronexus? Trying to close the door on Alex Musica. Alex Musica puts it up the inside, going through turn 3 there. And Cronexus just couldn't find that way past. Alex Musica holds on to P5, but that's inviting Griggs to have a little bit of a battle there. There's Cronexus up the inside, and Jamie James was retired from the session. Alex Musica goes onto the grass, and he's lost a whole heap of positions there. He's lost out to Griggs, pit mat as well. So Alex Musica now down to 8th place. He put a wheel onto the grass there, but meanwhile Griggs is now having a go at Cronexus as we head towards turn 7. Side by side they go up the hill, and Griggs gets the move, does he? Oh, he's tapped! He's tapped by Cronexus! He's into the wall! On the exit of turn number 8 there. Cronexus tapped the rear end of Griggs, sent him around, and Griggs has front wing damage. And he's going to have to come back to the pits for that. Heartbreak for Griggs here as Solid Ninja Snake takes advantage. He's now up into P9, so Griggs is going to have to make an early stop onto a new set of intermediate tyres. So that's going to be hugely frustrating for the Ferrari and the Ferraris as well. We had Jamie James as well retiring from the race during that battle. So that's one Ferrari down. This could be another one down as well. But meanwhile, Cronexus here has to defend from his teammate. As we head down the straight here, 12 laps to go with Demon in the lead. Sergey 4.8 seconds behind. That gap has pretty much stabilised there around about that 4.8 mark. As Griggs now comes into the pit, so he'll be putting on a new set of intermediate tyres. And he'll be rejoining... Well, he won't be rejoining at the back, I don't think, because there's Jake coming in. So Griggs there will not be happy at all with that one. But he'll have to rejoin and hope that he can grab some points towards the end of this race then. Meanwhile, Cronexus, Pitmat and Alex Musica all fighting over the same position at P5 to be exact, as we now make our way down through turn 6 and towards turn 7 and turn 8. And you can see the Mercedes there just about getting it right. Pitmat is only 3/10 behind, now up to half a second through that section alone. And we're now heading down the hill towards turn 10. I wonder if there's going to be any team orders between those two. Interestingly, they're both car number 99, I believe, which is a new one. Anyway, Cronexus half a second ahead of his teammate, with Alex Musica looking on in the background, looking on ominously as well in the background. And as we get this helicopter cam here through 14 and 15, there's Cronexus coming into the pit. So obviously Cronexus was one of the two stoppers here. He's come in for a new set of tyres. Alex Musica follows him in, as well as the OG. So they were all the two stoppers here who weren't willing to make those tyres last that long. So Cronexus pulls away. That is Alex Musica you're seeing there in the pits, as he has to wait for the Renault of the OG to pull into the pits. So the team didn't release him before that, so that's going to cost him a little bit of time. Then Cronexus rejoining the track then. And where's this going to put him? It looks like it's going to put him in P9, and it is 9th place there for Cronexus, but he's on a fresh set of intermediate tyres, and he can do 11 laps on them. Easily 11 laps on those tyres. Demon then heading through turn number 10. Up the hill he goes through turn 11 and through turn 12. He's just lapped Jake there as we make our way around towards turn 13, then the right-hander. And I think that rain is letting up just a slight bit, as not quite a clear angle. But the rain is less heavy than it was before at the start of the race. But it won't be enough to get rid of those intermediate tyres then. 10 laps to go. Demon in the lead from Sergey and Igo Champ. The Mighty Bucket here was one of those who pitted early, and he's going to pit again. So he pitted too early to make the one-stop work then. In he comes. And where will he rejoin then? Pitmat here will pull away then. He was also on a one-stop strategy. Solid Ninja Snake, by the way. And the Roadhouse, both on the one stop, both want to make that work, as the Mighty Bucket there, as there we go, completed his pit stop and is making his way down the pit lane. So Solid Ninja Snake and the Roadhouse there get positions as they make their way towards turn number 1. And the Mighty Bucket here will rejoin in P7 just ahead of Elite Game Boy, his teammate here. So Mighty Bucket then will have some tyres to attack and see what he can do then. So with only 10 laps to go then, you're running on board with the race leader Demon. The gap behind him is 4.1 seconds. So Sergey has found a new lease of life in those tyres and is really starting to push now. He's got that gap down around about 4 seconds. And if he can keep pushing with 10 laps to go, or 9 and a bit if you're picky, he has a good chance of making this work then. So we've got Sergey rounding the chicane here. Now this depends when Jake moves over and lets Sergey through. Sergey might be able to get a little bit of tow from Jake here, but he decides against it. So he's on his own there. 3.9 the gap with 9 laps to go. So Sergey here is really pushing hard, but at the same time Demon is probably conserving his tyres just a little bit more so that he can make it to the end. But Sergey's had enough now. He's going for it. Roadhouse here then in P6, following his teammate in P5, Solid Ninja Snake. P5 and P6 for the McLarens there. They qualified outside of the top 10 in qualifying, but they now find themselves in the mid-pack of the points as Crow Nexus sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:30.2 on a fresh set of intermediate tyres. Pit Matt here then, riding on board with him. You can see the difference in teammate to the 1-stop and the 2-stop. Crow Nexus down there on P9 as we have Pit Matt in P4, and looking at the gap between them, it's around about 9 seconds between them. Oh sorry, I was looking at Solid Ninja State there. It's around about what's that, 18 seconds between them right now, the two Mercedes drivers. So 18 seconds is a lot to make up in this race, especially over 9 laps. He has to close the gap by 2 seconds per lap, which is always difficult to do. Demon there on 9-lap-old intermediate tyres. I said he was saving his tyres or trying to conserve them, but he's just gone fastest. So great stuff from Demon then. Let's get the intervals back up then between each driver. You can see the McLarens here are quite close to each other, and I wonder if they're just holding position for now then. Mighty Bucket is closing in on a new set of intermediate tyres, and I wonder if he's going to try and, or if they're both going to try and defend from the Red Bull there. The McLaren Renaults doing their best here to just run in formation in 5th and 6th place. They'll be very happy to pick up those points as the Mighty Bucket now goes quickest, 1:30.1 as he looks to close in on the McLarens ahead of him. 1.6 is the gap, and he's looking to try and extend his advantage over his teammate who is trying the 1-stop. So the Mighty Bucket here confident of his pace at the moment, and if we look at the details then, the stops, you can see he is the leading 2-stop runner in P7. And as you can see, the 1-stop looks to have been the better strategy for today. Looking at positions then, well, Solid Ninja Snake has gone up 10 positions from his starting position. Alex Musica up 6 places from his starting position, having to start from the back of the grid, so it's a good performance from them so far. And we'll get those tyres back for you. Lap 26, soon to become 27. We have 7 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and you can see the gap between the Mighty Bucket and the Roadhouse is closing. And the gap right now is 0.6 of a second. Now, how easy will it be for the Red Bull to try and dispatch the McLarens here? 6 laps is the difference between their tyres. Well, at least with the Roadhouse, it's 7 laps for Solid Ninja Snake. So how will they cope then, the McLarens, defending against the Mighty Bucket, who's on a fresh set of intermediate tyres and ready to make them, or push them at least, to the end of the race? Here goes the Mighty Bucket then, in the slipstream of the Roadhouse. As you can see, he's got that ERS battery into overtake mode, but it's not enough. You can't quite reach him. And in the wet here, you just have to be so careful on the curbs just to make sure that you don't overdo it, don't clip the curb, nothing like that. anything that would unsettle the car, as Alex Musica picks himself up a 3-second time penalty, as we're watching on board with the Mighty Bucket then. Well, not on board, but you know what I mean. The gap between the leaders, by the way, has gone back up to 4.1, as Demon does his best to extend that gap as best as he possibly can. Mighty Bucket then heading through 6 and then towards 7 and 8. He's got his eyes on P5 here, and at the moment that looks like the best he could do with that disconnection early on. Very unlucky, but he was ahead of Igo Champ at that point. So without that disconnection he could have easily, well, he might have rejoined in front of the McLarens actually, but as is the way, he's going to have to overtake them on track. So when your luck's out in terms of a disconnection, your luck is just out. We saw Dan the Snake disconnecting at the end of the formation lap, so he wasn't starting on his own there. He wasn't a human starting that race, it was an AI, so Dan the Snake had to join in and around about lap 1 of the race. But the Mighty Bucket looks like he's a lot closer to the Roadhouse than before, and you can see that now. Into the slipstream he goes, overtake mode engaged, as he now pulls to the right hand side then, trying to take the inside line going into turn 1. Will the Roadhouse put up a little bit of a battle? I don't think he does there. I think he knows that battling the Mighty Bucket is a little bit futile here. So Mighty Bucket then up into P6, and Elite Game Boy is 2.9 behind the Roadhouse here, both on the one-stop strategy, Roadhouse and Elite Game Boy. So we'll have to see how that battle comes up. As you can see though, Elite Game Boy is closing on the Roadhouse. 2.6 seconds is the gap, and Crow Nexus here 1.5 seconds away from Elite Game Boy. So still all to play for in the mid-pack, as Solid Ninja Snake will be hoping he can hold on to P5. Will he put up a battle though, I wonder? Or will he just be happy to get some points on the board? We now head through turn 9 down towards turn 10, braking hard, and halfway in between the 150 and 100 meter board. As you can see there, that's interesting. Solid Ninja Snake taking 3rd gear there in the hairpin of turn 10. Other drivers deciding on 2nd gear, but 3rd gear seems to be the way forward for Solid Ninja Snake. It gives him the torque he needs to get out of the corner. So Solid Ninja Snake making his way through the final chicane then. Still trying to hold on to 5th place, but with the Mighty Bucket right behind him. And on the straight then, as you can see there, Solid Ninja Snake was a little bit out of shape coming out of the final corner, and he knows it already because he's going defensive as we now head down the hill towards turn 1. And he moves back onto the racing line, which is an absolutely fair move to do. It's in the regulations there, as Mighty Bucket overcooks it going into turn 1 there, almost losing the back end there, but kept it under control. And has to hold on for P6 for now. Solid Ninja Snake given a little bit of breathing space here. Demon here then leading the way with 4 and a bit laps to go. And he's looking comfortable out there at the moment, as he now rounds turn 12, making his way towards turn 13, through then the chicane of 14 and 15. And as you can see there, that ERS battery isn't going down at all. So I'm not sure if that's an accurate reading. Maybe the sensor's not working properly. But anyway, as oh, now it's going down. As Demon there sets a 140.1 and opens up that gap to 4.5 seconds to Sergey here. Solid Ninja Snake meanwhile still holding off the Mighty Bucket for now, with Solid Ninja Snake hoping to hold on to P5 for as long as he can. Roadhouse here starting to close up again on the Mighty Bucket, with Elite Game Boy in the background there, 2.6 behind, so he's not made any inroads on catching the Roadhouse here, but he knows if he keeps a good enough distance back, he has the clear air. And again, Solid Ninja Snake getting a little bit out of shape out of the final corner, and that's going to open up a bit of slipstream here for the Mighty Bucket as we head down towards turn 1 again. Not as close to the Mighty Bucket this time, and the Roadhouse here locking up just a slight bit going into turn 1 and then through turn 2. Crow Nexus meanwhile is hoping to regain some points here. He's chasing down Elite Game Boy, 0.8 of a second between those two, and you can see there Crow Nexus running a little bit wide, but it gets him that speed as he heads towards turn number 4 here, going into sector 2 now, as we now head down towards turn 5. Mighty Bucket meanwhile has really closed up once again on Solid Ninja Snake. It's all on Solid Ninja Snake to try and defend as hard as he possibly can, but he runs a little bit deep going into turn number 7, and this has opened up an opportunity for the Mighty Bucket. They go through turn 9 now, and on the exit there, can Solid Ninja Snake hold on then? Mighty Bucket might have a move going into turn 10. He thinks about it, he goes for it, down the inside into turn 10. Solid Ninja Snake has to leave him the room there as they go side by side as they head through 11 and then outside onto turn 12. Do the 2-touch? No, somehow they don't. Oh, there's a little bit of a tag there. I spoke too soon as Solid Ninja Snake slightly taps the Mighty Bucket there. Bit of lag involved in that one, so I'm not entirely sure if both saw that on their screen. However, this has opened up the Roadhouse to close in on the both of them here. And the McLaren of Solid Ninja Snake holding up Mighty Bucket. A treat here, but now it looks like a question of when rather than if now. The Mighty Bucket side by side with Solid Ninja Snake. As we now head down towards turn 1, Solid Ninja Snake there has to back out of any move, and the Mighty Bucket at last gets away and into P5. But the McLarens here might have opened up a battle between themselves here. As you can see here, the Roadhouse is only 2 tenths behind Solid Ninja Snake. I wonder if the team over the radio are telling them to hold position, because they've got Elite Game Boy behind them, Crow Nexus as well behind Elite Game Boy. And you can see here the battle for P5 is intensifying. It might be for P6 in a second, because obviously Mighty Bucket on those fresher tyres is allowed to just gallop away and use those fresh tyres to just get away. Elite Game Boy here. Mighty Bucket obviously on that 2-stop, but you've got Solid Ninja Snake, Roadhouse and Elite Game Boy all on the 1-stop. Behind them is Crow Nexus. He's on a 2-stop strategy. And he's only got a couple of laps here. Demon starts the penultimate lap of the race. And you can see the gap is now 4.8, so Sergey hasn't been able to close the gap. In fact, has actually extended that gap. But you'll see Crow Nexus here trying to get onto the back of Elite Game Boy. He's not got long to try and make this move work. And I wonder here if this is going to become a 4-way battle for P6 with 2 laps to go. Hold on to your seats for this one. This should be a good one. As the Mercedes here of Crow Nexus loses the back end, just a slight touch there. You can see the McLarens using each other. You've got Roadhouse closing in on Solid Ninja Snake. Meanwhile, Chrome Nexus is closing in on Elite Game Boy. Looks to try and fill those Red Bull mirrors with a little bit of a silver arrow there. But he can't quite find the gap there. The door's not open, and Chrome Nexus can't take advantage. Now going through turn 3. As he runs a little bit wide there onto the green there. And it should be okay for now, but as you can see, the rain is still falling as Elite Game Boy loses that back end very slightly. And that's going to open up a world of opportunity for Crow Nexus then, right on his tail, as we head through turn 5. Down the hill we go, through the kink of turn 6, and then through 7 and 8, up the hill we go, as the McLarens are still fighting each other then, as we head towards turn number 9. And Demon there has started the final lap of the race in the lead. 5 seconds is the gap. And they'll be hoping now that those tyres can hold on for just one more lap. That's all they have to do. And for him to make that 1-stop work then, we're going to keep a close eye on Demon in the lead. But we're also going to keep a very close eye on this battle for P6. A Solid Ninja Snake is hoping to hold on from his teammate here. I wonder if they've been told to hold station. If they've sort of agreed to hold station here. Because Elite Game Boy behind them, Crow Nexus is looking even more feisty here. And the more points that McLaren can get, the better. As they now head onto the main straight here. But it looks like Roadhouse here just trying to get some slipstream from Solid Ninja Snake in front. Here comes a battle though between Elite Game Boy and Crow Nexus as they head now down towards turn 1. Crow Nexus is on the outside as we head into turn 1. He can't quite make the move stick and has to stay behind for now. As you can see now, Elite Game Boy closing that door on the inside. Don't think the gap was ever really going to open up for him, as Sergey here has fallen 9 seconds back now. Well, we'll try and watch that battle for P6 as and when it happens. But Demon here has put in a faultless drive. As you can see, Crow Nexus and Elite Game Boy here switching positions, but we're going to stick with Demon here as he rounds the final corner of the Spanish Grand Prix. Demon will cross the line here to win the Spanish Grand Prix. It's been a great drive from Demon, fully deserved the 25 points that are on his way to him. Sergey here remains the championship leader. He finishes in P2, and it was a good drive from him then. I go champ then. We'll be rounding the final couple of corners He may have finished 22 seconds down on the leader, but he won't care. You can see here, he's coming towards the line now, and he'll take the final podium spot. Great drive from Igo Champ here. Pit Matt rounding the final corner. He's going to take P4 at the checkered flag. So it's a good result for him then. Mighty Bucket on the two-stop. The leading two-stop driver will come home in 5th place. And what could have been before his disconnection, he then gets the fastest lap of the race then. Solid Ninja Snake holds on to P6. Roadhouse in P7. Chrome Nexus made the move on Elite Game Boy for P8. And Elite Game Boy has to finish in P9 with Alex Musica in P10. The OG is in 11th there, just outside of the points, separated by 1.5 seconds. You can see here Griggs, well, he met the wall at this track. Had to come in for a front wing replacement, and you can see him now coasting home in 8th gear. And that is a case of what might have been for Griggs here. He was on course for a good points finish until that incident. And I don't think we've heard the last of that incident anyway, so Griggs will cross the line on the lead lap, but in 12th place. But your winner of round 5 and the Spanish Grand Prix, it's Demon. So then there go the top 3 onto the podium. And it is Demon who takes the victory, puts Baku behind him, and responds with a race win. Great drive from Demon today. So then, as we wait now for the official, unofficial results, as we see there, I get a little bit of experience for watching that one. But Demon takes the race win here. 50 minutes of racing here. Demanding on the drivers is an understatement. But Sergey in P2, Igo Champ in 3rd. We've got Pitmat in 4th, Mighty Bucket in 5th on the two-stop strategy. Solid Ninja Snake in 6th, Roadhouse in 7th, Crow Nexus 8th, Elite Game Boy 9th, Alex Musica 10th, getting his 2nd point scoring position of the season. The OG in 11th, Griggs in 12th, Jake, Jamie James, Sean and Dan the Snake all did not finish. Oh, sorry, Jake did finish, but he finished a lap down in 13th place there. 3 DNFs, Jamie James, Sean and Dan the Snake. Well, that was the Spanish Grand Prix then. Drama, especially in the mid part of the race, but a very in-control race for Demon there. He didn't quite coast to victory, but on the one stop he made his tyres last there. And we head to Monaco then. Sergey will still be in the lead of the championship. And the gap has come down by it's 7 points. Yep, so 7 points now. So the gap at the top will be 11 points. Of course, those are your official, unofficial results. We still have the steward's office and whatnot, so positions could change between now and next week. Speaking of next week, that is when we're going racing next. We're going to Monaco, the tight street circuit, the pinnacle on the calendar, and for any driver to win it is one of the best wins of the season, and I hope you can join us for that one, all across every single tier, and I hope you choose the F3 League. And well, all that's left to say is thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the stream. Obviously the next race is this time next week, 8 PM. The stream will start, and I hope we can see you there. Until the Monaco Grand Prix though, I've been Kieran McGinley, you've been watching. Take care of yourself, and I will see you next time.